Hey, this is Kyle at Projection Hub, and today I'm going to be talking about how long should your business plan be? Now, before my time with Projection Hub, I was an SBA loan officer for almost 7 years. And so during my time doing that, I was working with startups and small businesses to, prepare their loan application. So reviewing their business plan, reviewing their projections, reviewing their tax returns, all of the things it takes to apply for an SBA loan, and for startups and for, expanding existing businesses, that included a business plan. And I should also say, in my role with Projection Hub, where we focus on helping people write business plans, produce financial projections, prepare for SBA loans. So I've kind of been on both sides of the table here. And so I've had to review and read a lot of business plans as the lender, and I've also prepared a lot of business plans that are being reviewed by a lender. And so in this video, I'm going to show you a couple of business plan examples, and I'm going to talk through the contents of those a little bit, and roughly just answer your question of how long does it need to be. So if you're planning on starting a business and you're going to need a loan, or for whatever reason you're putting together your business plan, you might be wondering to yourself, how much is not enough work? How much is too much work? But hopefully I can answer that question today for you. So if at any point you like today's video, give it a thumbs up, or consider subscribing to the channel. That's really helpful for us as a fellow small business. But also, if you have any questions, just leave a comment down below the video. We're very responsive down there. You can also reach out to us directly at support@projectionhub.com if you've got questions specifically about your business plan, or writing a business plan, or preparing for an SBA loan, or anything in that kind of general arena. We would be happy to help you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. All right, here we go. So I have open what was once a real business plan that we worked on with a client. And we've kind of anonymized a lot of the details and whatnot. And again, we're not going to read through a business plan in this video, but I want you to be able to see the structure, the contents, vital, and then also just give a little bit of input on, when we see the sections that are included, how much does each section need to have into it? Because that's ultimately going to lead us to the answer of how long does my business plan need to be? And you're also maybe disappointed to hear the answer to that is a little bit nuanced. There's not this magic page number amount, but I'm willing to bet it's more than you want it to be. And if you've done a ton of work, it might be less than you think justified all the work that you do. So hopefully I can provide a nuanced answer for you. So what I have open for you right here, and the first thing you can see is this former real client business plan, kind of turned fictional, is around 25 pages. Okay, so now I'll just say right up front, we've worked on business plans that are 17 pages long. We've worked on business plans that are 45 pages long. And what's really the key difference between what makes a business plan 17, 20, 25 pages to a really long business plan is almost entirely images and pictures. So for example, the one that I'm talking about that was really long, it was an acquisition, which includes a lot of additional details in general, more so than a startup, as well as it was a manufacturing acquisition. So there was lots of product photos, facility photos, equipment photos. That's really what produced the length. So giving you a little bit of hints at the right answer is, unless your concept requires a ton of imagery, we want to avoid that 30, 40, 50 page mark. In general, I like to shoot around the 20 page mark, and because that is going to be a healthy mix between text, and you're not reading too much, you don't want your lender reading too much, and also some imagery and some graphics and some visual aids, because not only are those just more helpful at providing context sometimes, but because they break up the text, which is really nice. So let's just look through this one real quick as an example to kind of see what makes up the length of this. And first off, let's just take a pause and look at the table of contents, because that kind of gives us the overview. And the main things I want to point out is, one, the financial projections are going to take as many pages as they need to. Okay, so that's going to be 5 or so pages probably. That's going to include some financial statements, some charts, some graphs, some different things like that. And so don't worry about that section being too overwhelming. Now, you don't want to put in every single chart and graph and statement you have. We can attach some of those in appendices or, different thing like that, but don't be too worried about that section. So if I backed out the financial projections, we're really looking 20 pages or less. The other section that I think is worthy to have a little bit more space is the executive summary. And a lot of people think 1 page max. Sure, executive summaries are meant to be short, but I think that's the one thing we probably can guarantee the lender's going to read. So we want to make sure there's some useful information in there. So let's just take a quick look. First, we got the executive summary here. But I'll point out the rest of the sections you can see are going to be around 2 pages long. And so it's not a ton of text, which is great. That's probably a good guide mark. Any one section should probably not be longer than 1 or 2 pages unless it's got imagery that's required to support it. So the executive summary, just, again, a basic overview. I even think this one is missing some details that I would include normally for the situation. We probably put them later in the business plan, but things like this was primarily the overview of the situation, but I would always include financial summary or highlights, as well as the ownership background and experience. So a quick introduction to those two things as well. But you can see in this example, there's a map and 2 external images already, makes it a little bit longer. Business description, you can see it's about a page. Market analysis, that's about 2 pages. And even something that we normally do that's not in here is some keyword research or some chart and graph. So I think that section might even be a little bit longer. If you do a lot of competitive analysis, you might even have some competitor images and that kind of thing. It might extend it a little bit. Organization, so we got our ownership experience, managers, key employees, products and services. Because this example is like a restaurant, there's not a lot of imagery. If you have a menu prepared, you might include that, or the type of food that's inspired it, you might include that. But we're not dealing with products actually being sold off of a shelf or manufactured or something like that, which I think usually require a bit more imagery. It's going to be marketing and sales, a page or 2. I just want you to give a sense of, this is size 11 font, page and a half, 2 pages is about what we're giving to each section without imagery. And that kind of holds true through this whole business plan. Now, when we get down to the projections, you'll see there's a good amount of text, but there's also going to be things like these images, financial statements. There's usually even some more charts and graphs that we would typically, I think we, in this case, trim it back just a little bit because it was originally an acquisition, just so, we wanted to make space for it not being too much. So that was 25 pages. And to be completely honest, in this situation, I would probably even want it to be slightly longer to accommodate for some things I noticed that I don't know that, for what situation, why we didn't put them in this one, but some more market research, maybe some food inspiration pictures, a couple more charts and graphs from the financials. So I want to say, how long should your business plan be? Now, okay, let me just clarify. If you have a very simple business model, and I don't mean that in a negative way, that's not like in an insulting way, but let's talk like a trucking business, where you're going to buy a truck and you're going to take loads, you're going to deliver it somewhere. So there's not a ton of super detailed business planning. You don't need to feel like you have to stretch that to a 20-page business plan. On a lot of the trucking business plans we've worked on, those are going to be more like 15 pages to 20 pages at the most. And again, that's probably going to be like, if we want to include pictures of trucks that might be purchased and some different equipment, that'll extend things a little bit. Detail asset heavy, equipment heavy, facility heavy, real estate heavy, those types of businesses tend to be a little bit longer, requires a lot more imagery. So the average ends up being, I would say, in the low to mid 20 pages to have a good blend of amount of text you need as well as images. Now, something else I want to show you here is just another business plan. Now, this isn't a real client one. This is a free business plan template. So we actually have, I'll link down the description below. We've got all these free business plan templates. There's 70 or 80 of them in here. So you can grab a free copy of a business plan for your industry. And this template here is 19 pages starting out. Now, there's some things in these templates that the section, it's set up as more of a guide. And so there's going to be some explanation stuff in here, like these key points and some pointers that won't be in there because you'll take them out when you write your detail in. But also the sections that we're writing as a fictitious example to help give you some, of a roadmap or some guidance. Those will probably want to be longer in your example too. So don't take this 19 pages as like law in this case. But by the time you go through and you write your own version of this, it's probably going to end up being in that, low to mid 20s. Again, depending upon how many pictures you included and that kind of thing. So I would encourage you, without any imagery, if your business plan is in that 12 to 15 page range, that's probably feeling pretty good. Don't take a 12-page business plan and make it 50 pages just because you have pictures. There should be a pretty good balance between the two of those. And just a reminder, the financial projections, this is more of the charts and graphs and tables I was talking about beyond just the financial statements. Those will extend the business plan a little bit. And then if there's a lot of important things to put in the appendix, right? So if you have contracts, a letter of intent, different things like that, that will obviously extend your business plan too. So think about before the appendix and before the financial projections, how long does it need to be? My main takeaway is how much text is going to be written and read. You know, if there's a lot of text and you're bearing a lot of important details, I would consider shortening things up a little bit. But yeah, that's what I would say is how long your business plan should be. Shoot for that high teens to mid 20s. You can go above that if you're going to have a lot more visual aids that are required for your type of business model, your type of industry. And you can be a little shorter than that if you have a much more simple, straightforward business plan, limited visual aids. But, if you're clocking in at 3 pages long or something like that, that's probably not going to be enough information. And if you've written a 100-page business plan, I would encourage you to make a version that's trimmed down. I think it's okay to write a really long business plan as a helpful exercise for your internal planning and your ideas and all of that stuff. But the version you give to a lender or something like that, you want that to be trimmed down so that important details don't get lost in all of the extra stuff in there that they're not going to care about. So yeah, I'll point out and things like these charts and graphs. Well, actually, no, it's for a different video. We won't talk about it in this one. I just wanted to show you an example business plan as well as some of these free business plan templates. You can go grab a version of your own. And if you have questions at all about your business plan, or you want someone to take a look at your business plan just for like a free review and give some feedback, please just reach out to us, support@projectionhub.com. And my name is Kyle, and we would love to get the chance to answer some questions for you or help. So if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.